Sadnam aloha, everyone. Welcome to the live stream. And if you could put your name and where you're from and leave your comments below. Okay, so this live stream is about the new moon that's coming up on July 28th. And it's a big one. So that's why I thought I would do another bat at it. According to the human design types. So if you don't know your human design type, you can go to jovionarchive.com. I have a link below in my information box usually. And you can get your free chart. You don't need to give your email address, anything like that. There's no strings attached. And this will give you information about your aura type. Okay, very important information for you to have. Okay, so let's look at some images here. Okay, so there's the new moon chart, and so I've done a more thorough review of the shadow pattern. So if you can go to the 12 signs, the new moon and the 12 signs, but I don't like repeating myself too much. So it's in the shadow of arrogance. So you can see the glyph is 31.4, right? So that's the shadow of arrogance. It's the gift of leadership, and it's the city of humility. So the 31 comes off the throat. That's what that brown, I want to make sure that here we go. Okay. Right there, the 31 comes off the throat chakra. And then it joins up with the 7, right? And that's the gift of guidance. This is a leadership channel. When two gates meet, they define. So they're defining the throat chakra and the G center. Okay, where do I want to go with here? I want to talk a little bit about the nodes, because the nodes are going to be switching. Let me just get my ephemeris here. The nodal axis, that's our karmic axis, is switching. Oh, wow, on July 31st. There's a lot happening at the end of the month. It's switching over to 2 and 1, and that's a big deal. Okay, so where do I want to go with that, with the 2 and 1? So it's in the nodal axis of the 23 and the 43. Right here. So you can see that up there, the 43 and the 23. So the 43, that's coming off the ajna, the green center, and that's your personal mind. And then it's joining up with the throat center. So 43, 23, that's the channel of insight. So these are the nodes. They're the little they usually look like horseshoes right there. 43 is the south node, and the 23 is the north node. And I'll just go into the fears. So what we're letting go of is the 43, and this is the shadow of deafness, and it's the gift of insight. It's like breakthrough. It's a breakthrough. So the fear there is rejection. So we're letting that go, the fear of rejection. And this means, what keeps us, it's one of the main, the 6 primal wounds. That's one of the primal wounds, is rejection. But this gate holds this fear of rejection. So if you have this in your chart in any kind of main positions, like the sun or the earth or the moon, you're going to deal, or unconscious Mars too on the other side, you're going to have to face this fear of rejection, right? And it's primal. Right? It's a primal wound. So this is like, I want to move forward in my life, but I fear that I will be rejected. I'll be rejected by society. I'll be rejected by my friends and family. I'll be rejected by my partner, right? And this is something that we have to overcome, right? This is the self node. It's letting go of this fear of rejection and doing it anyway. Letting go of this deafness, not listening to our higher self, being deaf to our higher self, getting all of our authority from the outside of us. That's deafness, right? Like listening to our insights, So you should be receiving lots of insights during this time where you're supposed to go, you know? And why that's important, why that's important, right? Is I don't have that other slide. Whoops. Uranus during this new moon is conjunct with the North Node, right? And with Mars. So it's in the second gate too, down here. This is the magnetic monopole. I'll talk a little bit more about that more in depth on Tuesday during my live stream. But this is about getting you on track, getting you on the right path, where you're supposed to be, the trajectory you're supposed to be on. So if you've been dragging your heels and postponing and getting into those fears of, I worry about what other people will think of me, I'll be rejected by society, blah, 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 all the excuses that the ego gives you, right? This is worm tongue, this is ego. That's the voice inside of your head that pulls you away from your true self, your authentic self. We believe that this ego is us, this mind is us, and it's not. Right? So this is what human design teaches, is that we have our own authentic path that we're here to walk in this lifetime, right? And what we do is we listen to the mind, the ego, and this pulls us away from the track that we're on. And so look at this new moon is going to get you on your track, whether you like it or not. So if any surprises, like out of the blue things happen to you that are happening, you get evicted, your partner is like I had it with you, like kicking you to the curb, or betrays you or cheats on you, or, you experience some kind of loss in your life. That's Uranus and Mars saying, get out of this. This is not your trajectory. This is not your timeline. It's time to get on this correct timeline. Now, not everybody's going to do that, for sure, right? Not everybody is destined to walk their authentic path. We all have our, our free will to choose to align with our soul's purpose or not, but some will not, and they'll be clinging, right? So life is not, it's not personal, right? If you're ready to go onto this mutative journey of this evolution of humanity, then you're in. All you have to do is just align with the energy and not align with this, right? The ego, not align with, what's the other slide that I brought up here? Little g. Little g is the Titanic that's sinking. It's going down. This has all been prophesized. All these institutions, we're already starting to see them. These support networks that we've had, for thousands of years, they're going down. That's little g's going down. The educational system, the medical system, the financial system, the legal system, religion, marriage, military, police, they're all going down. And the people that are clinging to those, right? Clinging to these institutions, they're going to be going down with the Titanic. So what you want to be doing is walking through this portal into the new earth. And you do this by aligning to the higher frequencies, not listening to this, right? The mainstream news about there's more of the fear, there's more to fear, be afraid, right? That's all mainstream news is about, to keep you in line and keep you controlled. So this is a real time to embrace, right? Embrace your authentic self, embrace your authentic path that you're on, and to live your best life. It's all about living your best life. So you're letting go back to these nodes, right? Because it's going to be crunch time, right? Because July 31st is coming up quick, and then the nodes will flip. So we're going to get our lessons with this 4323. So we're letting go of rejection, right? The fear of rejection, facing it. It's not like you're not going to feel anything. You're going to feel, right? You're going to feel this fear of rejection. It's in your DNA. It's in your cells. And then you're embracing the 23, which is simplicity, right? So it's like slicing away. That's the ancient word, the I Ching word for this 23rd gate. Slicing away what's not, that what doesn't have value for you, right? And the fear here is not being heard, you know, that the divine's not going to hear me if we go right to the top, right? The tippy top is the divine's not going to hear me. God's not going to hear me. People aren't going to hear me. This is the 23rd fear that we also have to face. Rejection and then not being heard. So slicing away is letting go of those people that are not on the journey with you, and you're going to know who they are. You already know who they are, right? They're not aligned with you anymore. You know, we're going through great changes right now. The ones that are destined to move forward, right, into this new earth. And it's like, you gotta say that. Have a nice life. I'm moving into my destiny. I'm not waiting around for you, right? I'm not waiting for that perfect moment, right? When and if all these things happen in my life, because it's about this shadow pattern of arrogance. Arrogance is really listening to this, right? The ego, the mind, that's the shadow. But the arrogance is needing certainty and guarantees. Well, if I do this, right? If I walk through this portal here, you know, I want guarantees that this will happen, this will happen, this will happen. And that's the ego, right? The ego wants all of that. What you have to do is just jump in and trust yourself, right? This is about trusting yourself and how you operate. So this is the aura types with human design. Human design is really about now, the time that we're in right now, and in the future, right? It's about the future, and you're here to operate if you're like, okay, well, how do I get my authority then? Because I so rely on the mind and worm tongue here and ego for guidance. Well, you've got human design. You've got your own unique aura type and it shows you how you're designed to make the right choices for you, right? And it's according to your time of birth, date, and location, right? So this is a really good thing to rely on, because we're moving, I talked about this before in my other videos, we're moving into a whole new awareness system. So we've gone from the physical awareness, just about keeping the species alive, right? It's all about survival. And then we moved into a mental awareness system that we're in right now, and that's experiencing everything through our mind, through duality, right? And now we're moving. We're feeling this. We're being called to move away from the mind as our authority. That's arrogance. That's the shadow of arrogance. And moving into this emotional awareness, what we're feeling, what our emotions are. We're evolving through the emotional body. And then this mutates into spirit awareness. And this is the solar plexus mutation that's happening in 2027. And this is spirit awareness. This is our new awareness system that's coming online for humanity. For those that are not sticking to the Titanic, right? These are for the people that are like, I'm getting off this Titanic. I'm not relying on these institutions anymore because they're going down. It's time to start relying on myself, right? My capital S self, my higher self, my intuition, my heart. Because that's what's going to guide you, right? Because what's trying to guide you right now is this, right? Mainstream news and all these false leaders, right? This is what the shadow is all about, the arrogance, right? The false leaders. Okay, so this is where we're headed right here. So one thing that you can count on right now, and just to simplify it, because it's the 23, right? The 23 is the North Node. This is where we're being called to go, is to simplify it by getting best friends with how you're feeling. How you're feeling is going to show you, right, where you're being directed, what path you're on. Because the tricks will come. More tricks are coming. We know that. In the fall, the tricks are going to be coming out. And You know, if you're up here in the mental awareness system with everybody else and you're like the robot and the lemming, right? And these false leaders are taking you off the cliff and you're not questioning, oh, well, everybody else is doing it. And I fear getting rejected from the crowd. I don't want to stand out. I don't want to move away from the status quo. Well, guess what? You got to move away from the status quo, right? You've got to move away from this group think, because the group think, right, is this Titanic that's going down, right? This is going nowhere but down to the bottom of the ocean, because we have to rebuild this world, right? So so you can rely on your feelings, you know, like this doesn't feel right. I'm sure a lot of you said that in 2020. I did. There's something fishy here. This does not feel right. And right, and I bet you're happy that you listened to those feelings and your intuition, right? So it's about feeling like this doesn't feel right. The masses, especially when it's a global thing, right? It's like, go to your feelings. Don't go to the mind and all the I fear rejection, right? To go into like, it doesn't feel right, and trust that, because you're completely equipped, right? And human design completely mirrors that back to you. You got everything you need is inside you to keep you safe and keep you on your path, right? So it could be like Babylon, right? Coming down, burning, right? The fall of Rome or whatever. But if you're in the vibration of you, because this is about your authenticity, it's not going to touch you, because you're going to be in this high vibration, right? So that's what I want to stress, is to really, really trust this, you know, what we're going through. So this is where you want to be, right? You want to be here in this space, not the mind, right? Because the mind is pulling you away from your authentic self. Okay. So does everybody know their type? What else do I want to say about this? I think on Tuesday I'll go more deeply into some of these, especially the Uranus-Mars North Node conjunction. That's going to be a doozy. Okay. I just want to look at some comments and then we'll go straight to do some readings. Okay. Satnam Tara. Okay, Shiloh, Brain Side Up, Susan E, Lisa, Satnam, Hillary from Michigan, M. Bain, Satnam, from the 3rd. Yeah, okay. Projector, Tara, yeah, the projectors. 6-2 emotional manifester. Age 31 for 4C. Yeah. Okay, so people know their types. That's a good idea, though. And all those 6 lines out there, right? If you're coming, well, doesn't matter what age you're at right now, but you're part of this huge mutation, right? You're destined to go through this mutation. And you're the role model, the canary in the coal mine, so 6-line profiles. So if you go to your chart, you see where you've got this is like a transit, right? So you don't have the red side, just have the black side. But if you look and you on the red side, especially these first 2, right? The sun and the earth, and you see 0.6, 0.6 or 0.6, 0.6 on the other side. That means you're a 6th line. It means you're a role model for the Aquarian age about going through this transition, right? Where we all have to go through this transition eventually. Probably maybe a lot of people won't be going through this new earth in this lifetime, but they will eventually. We're all going to the same place. But the 6 lines really have to embrace this change, right? And not listening to this, right? Not listening to the mind for their authority going into their type. So we'll go into the reading of each type, and then I'll talk a little bit about it. Yeah. Yeah, canary in a coal mine. Yeah. Because it can seem kind of crazy, you know, kind of when you're on the spiritual path and the stuff that you go through, only other people on the spiritual path understand. The sheep are like, I think there's something wrong with her, right? She's a little bit crazy. She's a little bit insane, because they don't understand. You have to have the experience, because it's like you've got you got one leg in the material world, the mundane world, and then you got the other leg in the spiritual world. I mean, we're both, but you know, this people on the spiritual path are awakened to it, that they're living in these two worlds, right? It's like one leg in the Piscean age and one in the Aquarian age, right? Because we're bridge people right now, the ones that have been born into the Piscean age in this time, right, these last 2,000 years, and then but have been seeded with this consciousness, especially the 6 lines of this new earth, this new Aquarian age. And 6 lines know this. They know this deep inside them, right? Their consciousness is the Aquarian age, right? They know that this is not the way life is supposed to be, right? Very future oriented, those 6 lines. Okay, so let's get the overlays here. And we'll just do some readings. Okay. There we are. So let's start with the generators. Most of the people here are probably generators, because they're 70% of the world. So with the generators, what makes them a generator is this, right? That's the sacral, that one shape above the bottom one of the root chakra, right? That's usually, it's colored in. Not usually, it's always colored in. That makes them a generator or a manifesting generator, but I've separated them out. So 70% of the world, and they're here to respond to life. Generators are here to respond to life. And so what we've been conditioned to be manifestors, to initiate, right? Make something happen. If you don't like your life, get off the couch and just do it, right? A lot of these raw life coach types, you know, they're manifestors. Because I do their charts, right? I look at their charts. It's like, oh, there's a manifestor. And man, that works for them. That's their aura type. This is about your aura and how you're designed to operate. And you can try as you might, use all your willpower and waste your energy, right? I'm going to be a manifestor and I'm going to initiate things. It's not going to work for you, because that's not how you're designed. You're designed to respond to life from your navel with a yes or a no. It's not coming from here, right? It's not coming from the ego and worm tongue. Oh yeah, you should do this because you got bills to pay and you have to do that and you have to do that. It's like, no, you got to go to the sacral, right? Your sacral. And that's that your navel region. And it speaks in yeah, nope, yeah, nope, right? I'm a projector, so I haven't had an experience, but I worked with a lot of generators. And what they say to me is they feel they're being pulled into an experience, and that means yes, or they're repelled by an experience, or you know, and then that means no. So where we get into trouble is when as generators, when you're saying yes, your navel's saying yes, and then your mind is like no, right? Or, you know, you get offered that job and your navel's like, no, but the mind is in there. You got bills to pay, and no, you could do this for a year and then do what you really love after that. Put away some money, you know, all those excuses. And what happens is like, it turns out to be a gong show because you're trapped. Generators, they have all the energy. You're the one generating all the frequency on this planet. Right? So when you get stuck into something that's not for you, it's not correct for you, because your navel knows, your mind doesn't know, worm tongue doesn't know, anything. All Wormtongue knows is how to pull you away from your authenticity and pull you away from your power. That's all this is. This pulls you away from you, who you are in your power as a generator. And we're in a generator lesson right now, a spiritual lesson, because the generators are they're working through this archetype of the slave, because generators are here. They're here to work at things that they love to do. They're here to use that life force energy in things that they love to do. So the generators have to grab backbone and say, enough. You do not have access to my energy. If you look at the agenda is total energy harvesting of humans, right? And they don't want me. I got no energy. Manifestors got no energy. Reflectors got no energy. But the generators do. That's who they're after, is you and your energy. So you have to just start standing up. And that means like to listen to your navel. And when the navel says no, it's like, no, I'm not going to build this dystopian world that you've envisioned for the rest of humanity. I'm not playing a part. Not playing part of that. Like if the generators started to awaken, and they can awaken really, really quickly, right? That's what is said in human design. They can wake up the fastest, generators, because they got the easiest strategy, right? Just with the yes and no. So when they're working at things that they love, that they're passionate about, they're just fed with tons and tons of energy, the generators, and then they feel satisfied. Right? They feel satisfied. They feel fulfilled. They're going to bed at night and they're like, oh, I feel so good about how I use my energy today. When you're not operating correctly and you're listening to Wormtongue instead of your navel, then you're going to feel frustrated, right? And look at most people on the planet. They do not love the work that they do, you know? It's a small percentage of people. So if we get the generators on board, doing what they love to do and building and creating, right, this world with all their gifts and talents, right, then it's going to change the frequency of the planet, right, easily. So that's the generators. So you want to feel satisfied and fulfilled. And it's what I say with generators when I work with them is just start small. If this is really new to you, all this human design stuff, this is the future of astrology right here, is human design. Start small, right? Like get your partner or somebody, because you got to answer right with a yes or no with your response. Would you like more broccoli? And then you go to your navel, right? Yes, I'd like more broccoli. Because your body knows, that sacral knows what food is correct for you. Would you like to go for a walk, right? And then you get used to it. And that voice gets louder and louder and louder, right? So I go more into depth, right, with my recorded readings about what type you are. And again, it's 50% off for the month of July, and other information too for you. Okay, so let's connect with the generator collective, all those generators that are watching. And remember, again, you can go to Jovian Archive and get your free chart. You don't have to leave your email address at all. Okay. So let's see. Connecting with all the generators in the world. So for this new moon, generators, you want to be really tapping into your sacral response and responding to what's correct for you and what's not, right? For this new moon. This is Leo. We just entered Leo season today. And I'm a double Leo. I've got Leo rising and Leo moon. So I love this time of year. Yeah. So this is our time to be happy. And Leo's all about what makes you happy, right? And just reflect, generators, on because your aura will draw in opportunities. That's a fear, that your aura won't draw in any more opportunities. So I better grab this, even though it's incorrect for you, It's about trusting, right? Generators are about waiting to respond to the right thing. That's what you do. You just attract opportunities to you all the time. Okay, so what does the generators need to know for this new moon? Especially leading up to the new moon, what do the generators need to know? Right there, that one. Okay. So the generator's got the dishonesty. So if you're a generator, the dishonesty, this is the ego. What's the ego is telling you? Is if you've got the 59, you can see the 59 is right here coming off the sacral. Right there, the 59. If you have that, that's the shadow of dishonesty. Right? It's the gift of intimacy. So it's about our relationships. So it's to be dishonest is to go against your authenticity and who you are, right? And we're really being called right now to be more emotionally honest. We've got the Neptune in the 36, and that's about emotional vulnerability. So being emotionally honest in our relationships. And the dishonesty really is about listening to this, right? The ego. The ego is like slippery, slimy. It's deceitful and manipulative, right? To not be listening to that. This is to be dishonest. And the thing is, we don't get away with anything on this planet. You know, everything's recorded in the Akashic records. And more importantly, it's you that has to look at you in the mirror every morning, you know? Your subconscious mind remembers all of this. Every action, every deed, every word, every thought you've had. Okay, do we have a card for the oh, look at that. No surprise there. So you got the dishonesty card and you got the ego card. Right here, the ego card. So this is the angel holding up the bird in the cage. So it's the 15. So in the traditional tarot deck, this is the devil, right? So this is like devil energy right here. Is the ego. So this is not to get fooled, generators, by the illusions, right, that are coming. You think we've had illusions in 2020? Like, look out with Uranus and the North Node and Mars. We're going to see lots of deception. So this is about not getting dependent, because you can see that bird there, right, in that bird cage. And this is how we humans are, generators are. Well, I've got, I have everything I need. I have my comforts. Hey, I got maybe universal basic income's coming. I don't have to work. I get all this money. This is the illusion, right? And this is the things to watch out for, If it's too good to be true, then I would look at it, right? And it's anything that fosters dependency, on this, right? Fostering dependency on this Titanic that's going down. This is a warning for the generators to watch this. You don't want to be right now dependent on these big institutions. You don't want to be dependent on anybody except your higher self and your intuition, right? So this encourages materialism, right? So not to get trapped here, because that's really, for the ego, that's the trump card, right? Is how are you going to survive? How your basic survival, like you better do this, you better be dishonest, to get your material needs met. So you don't want to play that game, right? You want to be trusting in yourself that you will be taken care of, but not by the ego, not by the devil. You'll be taken care of by the divine. Yeah, that's a warning. So let's look at the gift card here for the generators. You know, it's really about transferring our authority over, right? From the mind, ego, that's the mind, ego, same thing, to this, right? Our emotional awareness that's coming online. And the generators get this sacral, you know, their own inner authority to listen to, the yes or the no, and to trust it. And start now practicing little things, and you'll be amazed at how, as soon as you start walking correctly on your path, the universe rewards you. It will bring you things to show you, like the repeating numbers somebody mentioned. That's like a little reward, repeating numbers. Little things will start to happen, like little gifts, and it's like the universe is letting you know, hey, you're doing good, right? You're doing well. Keep following this. Keep following this way that you're walking now, because it's correct for you. Okay, so what's the gift for the generators? What's the gift for the generators here? That one. Oh. Okay. And this one here. So it's just saying to not be dishonest, not listening to the ego. The ego is going to foster that. He's going to give you all kinds of reasons why you should be dishonest and to betray yourself. You don't want to be listening to it. These are the spiritual tests that we're in for our faith and our trust now. Okay. What's for this one right here? Oh, you got two. Oh. Trust is what I've been talking about. So trusting in the divine, trusting in your sacral, trusting that you have everything you need inside you, not to get fooled by the ego and the illusion, and also to take self-responsibility, accountability. So this would fit with not getting into victim, because the ego, worm tongue, is going to tell you about, well, you had such a hard life, in the victim story, right? The victim story. And if you're hanging with victims with that kind of consciousness, right? Because we're in the victim Olympics right now. It's like who's the most victimized on the planet? They get the biggest voice. Now suddenly the powers that be are really interested in people that have been victimized. It's suspicious, right? Right there. And we're not victims. So generators can't get into that space, because that's how the ego can manipulate you. It's like, well, you've had such a hard life and they're so privileged and they're this and that, and this is why you should be dishonest. You don't want to fall for it. You want to take accountability, self-responsibility. So if you're in a place in your life right now where you're not feeling good, generators, you're not in work that you love to do, or you're in some kind of financial pickle, whatever you're in, it's to stop. And it's like, okay, I need to take accountability, because to get out of victim consciousness, you've got to go into accountability, and that means choice. We have choice. That's our free will, is we have choice. And then reflect on it. It's like, okay, how did I get into this position? And then you open yourself up, right? And it isn't about blaming yourself. It's just about learning the lesson, especially if you're third line, third line, sixth line in your profile that I talked about, right? It's like, what did I learn from this experience, and how can I recorrect? And that's like getting to your sacral, and then you're going to get back on track, right? Yeah. Okay, that's what I have to say for generators. And then let's see, okay. Every type thinks that the other types have it easier. I've done it too. Because there's a part of me that's like, I'm a projector, that generators seem to have it really easy to me, but I'm not a generator, right? We all have our cross to bear. Okay. Where did that go? Overlay. Okay, let's get worm tongue off here. Okay. There we are. Okay. So let's go for manifesting generators. And they're like a hybrid of the generator and the manifesting generator. Or the generator and the manifester. Okay. This one goes there. That goes there. This goes here. So same thing for the manifesting generators. They've got to listen to their sacral, right? In human design, this is how your aura works, manifesting generators. So you're attracting to you all the time opportunities to respond. That's your magic word, not react, but to respond with a yes or no coming from your sacral, right? So the yes, you're going to feel it. All the generators, manifesting generators, know this because it's inside them. It speaks to them in yes or no. So the difference between the manifesting generator and the generators, one difference is that the manifesting generators are like racehorses, right? Go. They're ready to go. I want to go, right? So they can be very, very impatient. That's why they have to, often manifesting generators have to go back and redo things, right? They skip steps because they want shortcuts because because they're so fired up. They got all that energy. What else do I want to say about manifesting generators? So when they say, like I said before, if they're offered a job, right, and their sacral says no, but their mind gets in there, right? Their mind gets in there, worm tongue gets in there, giving them all excuses. Well, you got rent to pay. You got bills to pay. You better take it. There's nothing else. The economy's so bad. The money, the inflation, blah, 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 blah. All the survival stuff. Oh, yeah, I better. And you're listening, right, as a manifesting generator. Oh, yeah, I better take that job. Well, the great caveat with the manifesting generator is they get into the job and then their sacral is like screaming at the top of its lungs, like, no. Are you going to listen to me now? No. Well, the generator would get stuck in that experience, and that can go through a cycle, right? A 7-year cycle. Well, the manifesting generator can step back because you can have a little taste as a manifesting generator, and you can kind of escape that energy. So that's one good thing about having being a manifesting generator. And then when you respond like properly with the yes, like it's all go, then you can start to manifest, right? As a manifesting generator. But it doesn't mean you're a manifester, but you do have that power when you're operating correctly. So you want to be responding to the right things this new moon. And remember, the city of the new moon is humility. So humility has nothing to do with the ego, because the ego thinks humility is being humiliated. That's what humble means to ego. It's like, I'm being humiliated. It's all about shame, right? Humility is giving your authority to your navel, right? To your navel instead of the mind, right? That's what it means. It's like how you're divinely designed. So you're giving your authority over to that, not to your mind, right? So this is what we all have to do. We have to start making this shift, right? From this mental awareness system into the emotional awareness, and that's going to mutate into the spirit awareness. So let's do some cards for the MGs. So they want to be responding to some good things. The new moon in Leo is bringing good things, and it's about your heart, right? What you love to do, work, who you love, right? Bringing people to you. Remember, we're in musical chairs and for relationships this year. Okay. What's the MG got to see? What's the manifesting generators? Ego is telling the manifesting generators this one right there. Okay. I would have thought that was for the manifestors. So you got the anger card. The anger card, so when you're not operating correctly, manifesting generators, you can be feeling angry. So angry or depressed, right? Or frustrated. Frustration is just is anger. So this is a power struggle. You can go through power struggles. And this can create lots of anger too. Worm tongue. The ego can create anger, especially when you start listening to your sacral. Stop listening to this. The ego can have quite a little tantrum to try to get your attention back. So yeah, it may have some anger. Plus that Uranus and Mars on the North Node. Yeah, there's people are going to be angry. Especially when they're not on the right path. They're not on the right trajectory for them. They're not doing their soul purpose. Okay, so you got the Two of Earth. You can see that little child balancing right on that fence. So it's about balance, and it's the Earth. This is Pentacles, the Two of Pentacles, which is stress. So there can be stress, there can be money stress, right? The Two of Pentacles is money stress, it's material stress. Yeah. And it's calling you to prioritize, you know, and to simplify. That's the North Node. It's calling you to simplify. And that means maybe some things got to go. You know, if you're on a hike, if you're on a big hike and you got no, you know, you're running out of water, you're getting tired, and you're carrying all this extra weight on your back, well, you're going to drop some of the weight, right? Well, maybe I don't need all these clothes, right? Maybe I need water and I need food and basics, right? If you're on this hike, it's like slicing away, 23, slicing away what's doesn't have value to you, right? Simplifying. So the anger could be, this is what this Two of Pentacles is showing me, is to prioritize on the material realm. What's important to you? You know, like for some people, do I need that third car? Do I need? I've been chasing these goals that ego's been telling me, right? Why? Why am I chasing these goals? Is it something I really want, or am I fearing? Right? Am I fearing rejection? Right? Am I fearing I'm going to be rejected by my family if I start saying, this isn't important to me anymore? You know, will society reject me? These are all the fears that you've got to face when you start stepping away, right? When you start stepping away from the Titanic that's going down. When you start stepping away from the status quo, right? So it can bring up some anger, and this is conflict in the mind. So one part of your mind wants to be like, I just want to fit in and I don't want to be rejected and I just want the status quo. I want things to go back to normal, right? The way that they're supposed to go. I don't like this waking up thing, right? I don't like this spiritual path thing. I just want to be comfortable, right? So it's like when you wake somebody up and they don't want to wake up, what do? You know, when you're trying to wake them up, they'll lash out and stuff at you. It's like, don't wake me up. Let me be asleep. So this is just your mind, right? This anger is really coming from the mind. And it's this conflict because your true self is here for a journey. We're not here to be comfortable. We're here to live our best life. And that means we have to embrace discomfort. But we grow, right? We grow and evolve through discomfort. You know, so I feel like this is where the anger is going to come up for the manifesting generators, is wanting to stay comfortable, to have things that the way they are, this mental certainty, which is a big illusion. And then this other part of you, it's like, let's go, MGs, right? Manifesting generators. Let's go to the new, right? Let's walk through. Let's go run through this portal, right? MGs are not going to be sauntering through the portal when they're awakened. They're going to be running at full speed right through that portal. Yeah. So to watch that, and also watch projecting it onto other people, to like really take responsibility, accountability like the generators, bring that anger back inside. And then the medicine for the Two of Pentacles is like to not let the stress get to you, like the balance, right? The traditional one is he's got the Two Pentacles that he's juggling, is that life is like a wave, you know? It's not just stagnant. Life isn't like this. What's a flat line? That's death, you know? It's up and down. That's what life is. And that you, as long as you're centered in yourself, in your navel, and your inner authority, you're good, right? You're totally good. As long as you stay in your center. Don't get tricked, right? This wants you off center, and then in the mind. And when you're in the mind, you're getting all your authority from outside of you. You tell me what to do. I'll do what you say. You say we're going to go back to normal. Yeah, I'm going to listen to you. This is the false leaders, right? You don't want to fall for that. You want to be staying in your center, and you've got this gift of the navel, right? To help you with the yes or no, to respond. Okay, so what's the gift here for the manifesting generators? The MGs. Remember, you have to respond, MGs, not initiate. You're responding to life. What's the gift for the MGs? Manifesting generators. What's the gift for the manifesting generators right here? Okay. Oh, that's perfect. Humor. You got the funny card. Humor. And that goes with the Two of Earth. The Two of Pentacles is also about being playful, right? Not allowing yourself to get too serious, too angry, right? Anger, wanting things to be the way that they were before, that they'll always be. That's the mind. And as soon as you bring Uranus in, do not count on anything. Uranus is like lightning fast. It's like out of left field, out of the blue, that kind of energy. So to bring this kind of sense of humor about yourself too, right? Manifesting generators need that too, because they can make a lot of mistakes from rushing, right? It's like to take your time and find humor in life. There's lots of humor to be found in life if you look around. Yeah, and this may dissipate the anger, you know? So not getting too attached with your expectations of how your life should be going, or how people should be acting or not acting. Okay. What else? Yeah, and don't allow yourself to get stressed out. Because it can really affect, with Uranus too, it can really affect your nervous system. To be really in touch with your body, because it's the Pentacles, that's the material realm. Yeah, just to stay relaxed. Okay, because anger can really do a number on your body, right? Cancer, right? The root of cancer is anger. Okay. And the best thing too, I mean, to just go back to the emotions, right? With anger, believe I'm not talking about this. Emotional awareness. That's what we're evolving through, emotional awareness. So anger can serve you too, manifesting generators. When you do the work from the 0 to 7, you know, the 0 to 7 time period here, that's when the emotional body develops, is from 0 to 7. That usually people are more comfortable with the emotion of anger. They're not so comfortable with fear, not so comfortable with sadness and grief. But sadness and grief is going to take you into this solar plexus mutation through your evolution. So just feel it, right? Just feel it. Feel the anger. And it doesn't feel good, but feeling it means opening up your heart chakra and allowing it to be. Don't project, not projecting it outward, but just allowing a space for your anger and to feel it. And underneath that anger is going to be fear and then sadness and grief, right? And once you get to sadness and grief, this is where you go. This expansion of your awareness, right? This is spirit awareness. And that ego gets really, really small, manifesting generators. And then the other subtle point I want to say is that when you do this big, your emotional work and your shadow work, is when you do start to feel a little bit of anger, because I do that now, is if I'm talking to someone and I'm feeling my solar plexus, because you have to be aware of your body too. Like I'm aware of my body while I'm talking. I can hold a conversation and still be aware of my body too. If I feel a little bit of tingling in my solar plexus, it's showing me something, and it's like, it's always 100% always that, oh, my boundaries have just been overstepped, right? It's showing me that my boundaries have been overstepped. Maybe the person's attached to my attention, right? I'm a projector. People love our attention, right? So you can use it in that way too. And then it's very, very subtle. And then it's like, oh, my solar plexus is showing me I've got to set a boundary, right? And the boundary may be, okay, I have to go now, right? Whatever it is for you. So you can use it in that way too. But have a sense of humor about yourself. Try to, right? Manifesting generators. Okay. Let's go to the manifestors. The manifesta. Okay. Just way through every block. Choose dishonesty. Okay. The manifestors. The manifestors, they're 10% of the world. 10% of the world, the manifestors. And the cosmic joke is that everybody wants to be a manifester. All the other types want to be a manifester, except the manifestors, right? The manifestors don't want to be manifestors. And why is that, right? Because we've all been conditioned to be manifestors. Just initiate, the obsessed with productivity and improvement and making things happen and initiating, and we celebrate these people, right? Well, remember that we live in a shadow frequency, right? This Piscean age has been ruled by worm tongue, ruled by the ego, right? Ruled by the darkness, right? This world. And that's the frequency of inauthenticity, or the not self, or the mind, or the ego. So of course the manifestors are also going to be pulled away from their authenticity, their power, right? And this is what these recorded readings that I do are all about, because it goes to the conditioning at the cellular level, right? You get like the right foods for you to eat and the right environment for you to be in, right? What you're supposed to see, how your brain works, all that. So then you're aligned. So you're releasing at the cellular level this conditioning too, right? So this is what the manifestors are under. Yeah, everybody wants to be a manifester except manifestors. Manifestors want to be generators, and generators want to be manifestors, right? Generators want to initiate, make things happen. And the manifestors want to be waiting. I'm going to wait for something to respond to. You know, the manifestors are here to initiate. They're the ones that they've got to get the ball rolling. We got to get the balls rolling. And that means the manifestors have to start initiating, right? Initiating. You're not a generator, right? You're not here to respond to something. I'm in the flow and I'm just waiting for something, the universe to bring me something so that I can respond to it. No, you have to initiate. That's how your aura works. Okay? So the initiation comes from not from worm tongue, right? Because worm tongue's just going to tell you lies that take you away from your true self. This is the voice in your head that you think is you. It's not you at all. That's your non-self, right? Your non-self. You manifestors, you can create a whole identity around this ego, right? You just buy it hook, line, and sinker, what he's telling you and who you are, telling you who you are. And you've got no power, right? Manifestors are very powerful. So how you work manifestors is you get an inspiration filled with spirit, right? Inspiration, that means filled with spirit about an idea, right? Or a vision. And it won't go. It's not going to leave you. It's going to haunt you because it's your destiny to manifest whatever that is, right? Into physical form. So whatever it is, this idea, don't push it away, or this person, don't push that away. It's like this wants to be manifested through you, right? So what you do, listen to the divine. It's going to come through the divine for you. It's going to light you up, right? And then you don't go here to get talked out of it. Well, how's that going to work? Well, what if this? Well, what if you get rejected? Right? This is the ego. Don't listen to any of that bullshit from him, right? What you do is then you inform. Okay, so you receive the divine inspiration and then you inform, and that means you share your idea with somebody, anybody, a person. You could even write it in an email or a text or something. Here's what I'm going to do. And then as soon as you do that, that activates. All the energy gets activated, and then the universe supports that, supports your initiation, and then it comes into physical form. It gets manifested. That's how you manifest things, right? And so when you're initiating, sharing, here's what I'm going to do. This is what I'm thinking of doing, right? It activates the generators, and then they've got something to respond to, right? And that brings in all the support for you. So if you've got a great idea, maybe it's big, maybe the idea is really, really big and huge, don't be listening to this, because this is like trying to pull you away from your power, from your manifestation power. You just trust, right, that the support is there for you. So don't believe me. That's what I always say. Don't believe me. Have the experience. Manifestors don't like to be told what to do. They don't want to be controlled. That's why they don't want to share. Everything's a big secret to the manifestors, right? Because they feel like, oh, they're going to take my freedom away if I show my cards. This is the ego, right? The ego is telling you these lies. If anything, it's about you sharing, informing, right? This activates your power as a manifestor. Don't be listening to this. You better not tell them that, because they'll take your freedom away. They want to control you. It's all bullshit, right? From this ego, worm tongue. So that's how you work. So what I'm saying is, where was I with that? Is start small, like little things, little baby steps for your manifestation. Little things, right? And see what happens. But it has to come from divine inspiration. And then the big ones are going to start coming. And to trust that you have this power of manifestation, but you've got to get past your comfort zone and share, right? And communicate, right? Communicate with people, right? It works, right? But it doesn't come so easy for manifestors. So when you're operating correctly, peace. You'll just feel at peace. That's all a manifestor wants, is to feel peace, right? Just peace. Peace of mind, peace in the body, just peace in their surroundings. This is how you get peace, by informing, initiating, and informing and sharing. And how you get angry, if you're dealing with anger, that means you're not operating correctly. You're trying to be a generator. You're not initiating. You're abdicating your power. Then you're going to feel angry, lashing out, like having a little temper tantrums coming out of the blue. Like, where's that coming from? Or you're depressed, because that's anger turned inward. You're melancholic. I just feel really down and low. I don't want to be around anybody, right? That's also a big sign that you're not operating correctly as a manifestor. So let's see what the manifestor. So this is the new moon in Leo. So what an awesome time for you to initiate something and get the balls rolling for this new earth, right? Get some balls rolling. I'm sure you're receiving lots of divine guidance. The frequency is rising. I mean, if you meditate, like my meditations are so amazing. Especially this past month, they're getting better and deeper and more expansive. That the divine inspiration is coming. Just receive, be open to it. I'm open to manifesting and have the experience of a manifestor in this lifetime. Like, what a gift. Only 10% of the world are manifestors. Okay. And I think we have some manifestors on the live stream, I noticed. So what do the manifestors need to know coming up to this new moon? What does the manifestors need to know for this new moon? Okay. Oh, that's interesting. So you got the unlearning card, and that means letting go of your conditioning, right? Who you've been told, right? This goes right back to your childhood. You've got no power. It reminds me of how they train the elephants, right? You remember this. The baby elephants, they put a little tiny chain on the baby elephant and tie it to a tree. And then the baby elephant walks. It can only walk so far until the chain starts pulling its leg back. Right? I can't move any further. They leave that same chain on that elephant that's like hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of pounds that could rip that chain off and rip that tree off, right? And what does that big elephant do? It goes to the same point it did when it was a baby elephant and doesn't move any further because he's been conditioned since childhood that this is as far as you can go. He has no idea he can rip that tree off, right, off its roots. Can rip that chain off. It's like a little tiny string on him, right? That's like you as a manifestor. You got to unlearn that. What your parents told you. You got no power. You're powerless. In school, you're only good for this, right? Here's your potential. Oh, we'll only pay you this minimum wage for what you do. You got to start valuing yourself. And this is on learning all the BS that you received as a child. So just throw it all away. That's what I would say. Throw everything you think you are away. And the power and potential that you have, just throw it all off the table and start acting like a manifestor. And see what happens, right? Because at this point, it's just you holding yourself back. Like that big elephant. That big elephant was his worst enemy. He was the one holding himself back. It wasn't that little chain anymore. Right? So it's the same thing with you. It's only you in your mind listening to this. Listening to your ego telling you that you got no power. That you got to wait around like a generator. You're not, right? You're not designed to be a generator. You're not here to wait. You're here to initiate, make things happen. And I'm sure you've had that experience as a manifestor already. It might have scared you how quickly you manifested things. Right? But it doesn't mean you're responsible, because the thing too is the manifestor can say, well, if I initiate it, then I have got to do all the work. Right? And I don't have the energy, because they're a non-energy type too. Manifestors, like projectors and reflectors, is no, the support will come. All those generators, all that energy will come and support whatever your vision is that you received from God, you received from the divine. And it's also to make you happy, right? And peace, and being at peace. So that's what I see with that. You got to unlearn. And unlearn is throwing it all off the table. I don't know who I am. I'm going to start a fresh page for me as a manifestor this new moon in Leo. Okay, what's the card for the manifesto? We need those manifestors. This is how we all operate, right? Well, how we work together, creating this new era. Are all these human design types coming together, operating correctly? It starts with the manifestors. Okay. Do we have a card for the manifestors here? I can feel one jumping. Just be patient, because it's a jumper. Yeah, there we go. That one didn't want to jump. And what does the manifestor get? The dreamer. The dreamer. Isn't that perfect? That's the Fool card. And there's the angel. You can see the angel. And then the little girl running after a butterfly, chasing after a butterfly. And there's the dog. The dog's always in the Fool card, too. Yeah. So, I never noticed this. It's such a beautiful card. You got the flowers and everything around there too. So, this is saying to start afresh. What I've been saying, this totally echoes my message. Is unlearn, let go of all that conditioning, like rip those chains, right? Get out of the cage, whatever cage you're in. Like it's time to fly away as a manifestor. And this is about beginnings. Fool's journey is beginnings. It's being playful, right? It's like adventurous on this new journey, this new chapter in my life as a manifestor. It's beginning. It's believing in yourself and believing in your power. And that you're protected, right? You're protected. You're divinely protected as a manifestor. You know, we all are. But you're divinely protected when you initiate. You don't have to fear this rejection, right? Because of that fear of rejection down here with the self node, letting that go. This fear of rejection, letting go of this. I won't be heard. When I inform, I'm not going to be heard. Nobody's going to hear me. The divine won't hear me. I won't get what I want. This is all nonsense from him, right? The ego. You got to let all that go, manifestors, right? You're divinely protected. Yeah. And the fool is like, usually you see the fool, he's like stepping off the cliff, not like a lemming that I'm talking about, but just that, you know, that I'm here, I'm a spiritual being having human experiences and I'm divinely protected. And to trust that, like, you know, the thing is we can't make our mind trust. That's where people get into the conundrum of like, oh, my mind needs this. It needs all these numbers in my bank account. And I need this and I need that, right? I need to control, right? I need to control my environment, my situation. And then I get and then I'll have security, right? And it's all about making the mind trust. What you have to do, it's the reverse. You have to make your body trust, because your body's here. The mind's not. It's above time and space, the mind. That's why we can fantasize about the future and reflect on the past, and the mind can be all over the place. It's not here, right? The body's here. So this is what has to trust, right? That's what has to trust, and that's like relaxing your body. Right? I'm divinely protected. Like, that's your affirmation manifester. I'm divinely protected. I'm divinely protected. I believe in my power because it's coming from the divine. You're God's employee, right? When you're a manifester, that's who's coming through, not worm tongue, right? But divine. This is like a divine orders. Your marching orders coming through. And you're manifesting not just for yourself, but other people too, you know? So there's a responsibility that comes with that. So it's about, opening up to that. I love this. Okay, so let's see what the gift is. I mean, that's a huge gift right there. For the manifestors. So it is the dreamer, right? So open yourself up to what wants to come through. Not get into the noisy mind, right? This 4323, when you're not in the higher frequency, it can get really noisy and anxiety prone. And remember, I have that meditation on my website that's free. It's for anxiety. Somebody emailed me the other day, like, thanking me profusely for this meditation. He's been battling anxiety forever, and he said, I just did it once, and I can't believe how peaceful I feel just by practicing it once for anxiety. Because that's what's in your way, manifestors. It's that noisy mind. Okay, so what's the gift for the manifestors? What's the gift for the manifestors? Here, that one. Okay. So it's saying to retreat. Okay. So how to let go of this conditioning is to retreat, so that you can really, to me, it's like really opening up to the divine messages that are trying to come through to you, manifestors. Right? So that you can really listen. Going beyond that, expanding. So meditation will really help with that. Like silence, being in a silent environment, peaceful environment, create that peace around you so that you can really expand, right? And to receive your marching orders, the divine marching orders. And believing in your power and knowing without a doubt that you're protected. You're divinely protected in this lifetime. Especially when you're operating correctly, not listening to the ego. So retreat, a little retreat. You can have little spiritual retreats wherever you live. You know, you can create that for yourself. Okay. That's awesome. The manifestors. Okay. And then let's go. Okay. I just want to answer. I see a question for the manifestor. Just want to keep it here. Okay. And Baines, your youngest, is a manifester. That's great. It's so amazing. I mean, that's what Ra said. He's the teacher, the founder of human design. He said it was really for the children, he said, this system. It's great for the children to have. Yeah. Well, Jen Goodwin asks, why do manifestors need generators right now? So manifestors, maybe next time I'll have sample charts for manifestors, all the types. But the manifestors, do you see that sacral? That's the sacral. It's one above the root chakra, and then this one is the sacral. So that's where the home of the life force energy is. So this means that manifestors are non-energy types. So like projectors are non-energy types. Reflectors are non-energy types. And so they don't have the energy that the generators and the manifesting generators have. It doesn't mean you're a rag doll and you can't do anything. You do have your own energy, but it's not like generators and manifesting generators. They have that life force energy to really build and create what the manifestors are informing, right? This is the vision, this is my idea, and then that gets created by the generators, right? Not so in the like big projects like that. But if we were like a relationship or something, you don't need I need generators to so I can manifest this relationship, you know? Just with the big projects is what I'm talking about. Yeah, the generators have the power of the life force energy. Yeah. Where top power comes from initiate. No. Generators have a lot of power, right? I mean, if we're up to the projectors didn't really come on the scene until the discovery of Uranus in the 1700s, right? They're like a new type. Where was I going with that? Yeah, it's about letting go of control. And just accepting how you're designed, right? As soon as you're in comparison, oh, I wish I was a manifester, or I wish I was a generator, then you're out of your power because you're not being you, right? So it's just about accepting your design. And letting go of control means stop listening to this. Stop listening to your mind. Okay. So let's go for the reflectors. So the reflectors are only 1% of the population. I don't know. Are there any reflectors here on the line? Just let me know. So reflectors, you see how you have these different shapes, right? And they're colored in. If you look at your own chart, right, you've got one. If you're not a reflector, you have at least one center, two centers colored in, right? Well, reflectors have none colored in. That means they're completely open. So wherever it's white in your chart, that means you're prone to conditioning. It means you're prone to conditioning, influenced by this, yet influenced by the mind. This is the not self, the ego, via influence. So these are kind of your vulnerable points until you realize, oh, I'm under a conditioning field right now with this person's aura, because you have your own aura and your own human design, but then you come in contact with another person and your auras interact with one another. There's an alchemy that takes place between the two of you, right? So the reflectors, they're completely open. Like every center, they're open to conditioning. But the beauty of their aura is like it's Teflon. Like I'm a projector, I take in people really, really deeply. Like I really, my aura as a projector, it's very focused, it's very masculine, and it goes straight into this G center of other people. That's the higher self of the other person. So I can see, projectors can see through to the other. They experience the other so deeply, and they take in the other really, really deeply. And some people love it and some people don't. But reflectors don't have to do that. They're not taking in that person so deeply. So that's kind of their protection, right? It's sort of like they've got a Teflon aura, and that means like they sample. They can just take little samples of people. They're not taking them in fully. But they're really about the group, Reflectors are about the group, and they're a barometer for the health of a group. So if we look at how we all work together, say we had this big project we were doing, we're going to feed the world, right? Just a little project like that. We're going to eliminate poverty. We're going to eliminate hunger on the planet. Let's start there, hunger. And then we have this big project together. Well, it would start with the manifester. The manifester would have that vision, that idea, right? Of how this is going to happen. And then the generators would respond, yes, I'm in. And then the generators in the manifester would invite the projector in, right? And the projector would help guide the energy, And then the reflector would come in after a moon cycle, because they have to like go through a whole moon cycle. They've got to they're very, like the moon's really important for the reflectors, right? And then they get to experience it through the whole moon cycle. And then it's like, are they in or are they out? And if it's correct for them, then they're in. And they're the barometer of the group, right? So that we would all look like the projector, probably the projector would be going to the reflector, and how are we doing as a group, right? And the reflector would let people, well, this is working, and I don't feel like this is working. They're kind of like on the outside of the circle. They feel, and if they're not aware, I mean, they'll become the embodiment of the unhealthiness of the group, or the health of the group, right? So their thing is they need to be in the state of delight, right? Delight and surprise. And when they're not operating, they're trying to operate as a manifester or a reflector, trying to respond, trying to initiate, then they're going to feel disappointment, right? This constant disappointment. So they want to be surprised, right? Surprised by life, surprised by people, delighted by people. That's the reflector. So if you got a reflector child, I mean, you got to really, because they're often like scapegoat in the classroom, right? It's like, oh, little Johnny, right? Little Johnny, the reflector, is acting out. He's acting out. He's the problem, the bad apple in the batch. No, he's not. He's just expressing for the unhealth of the group. Whatever's going on in the group, in the classroom, little Johnny reflector is going to like express that, right? Yeah. Okay. So that's the reflector. So let's do some cards for the reflectors. Yeah. So if you're a reflector, and find out what your type is. If you don't know what your type is, this is really important information to know now. It might really save your ass, right? During this huge transformational period we're in, coming into the Aquarian age, is you really need to follow the moon. Like you're really, really influenced by the moon, the reflectors, right? And the moon waxes and wanes. So do the reflectors. It's hard to, their identity is just, right? It's just how they're designed. I knew a reflector. I've only worked with a couple, maybe 10 at the most, reflectors doing readings for. And then the community that I belong to, the Kundalini Yoga community, one of the top dogs he was a reflector. Yeah. And I saw him, right? When I learned human design, oh, he's so expressing this, like the hidden dynamics within the group that needed to be healed. But they're often really affected when they find out they're reflectors. It really hits them hard. But everything starts to make sense, right? Their life starts to make sense. And they need time alone, like they need a retreat to recharge. Okay, what do we got for the reflectors? What do we have for the reflectors? There we go. Okay. And then we'll do a card here. So holding on. Reflectors have the holding on card. So holding on to the past, holding on to a person, reflectors. And here's the thing to know too with relationship stuff. This doesn't matter if you're, well, if you're a reflector, you're going to have an open spleen for sure. Do you see that, that center off to the left there? That's the spleen. So if that's not colored in for you, the ego will tell you, you got to hang on to that person, that relationship. You better hold on to that person because you need them. They got, you know, to feel secure. To feel secure in life, they're going to pay the bills and they're going to do this and they're going to do that. That can be the holding on. So reflectors have that for sure. But if you yourself, like, look at your chart, you know, that if you have that, you're prone to that too. Holding on to people for too long, holding on to jobs that aren't good for you for too long, because you feel insecure. Until you get into your center, into your own power, right? Okay. So reflectors could be holding on to someone that's already long gone, like a relationship that ended a long time ago, but you're still holding on to them. And then you got the shamanic test. So this is dying to the old self. This is the ego death that a lot of us are going through, the dark night of the soul. So some kind of challenge you're going through now, to know that every challenge has a you know, and the challenge is really, I mean, the solution to the challenge is just to trust, right? Have complete trust, 100% trust and faith in the divine, and let this old self go, right? This old self reflector that was created, right, by the ego. This old self that was created by the ego has to go, because the ego is being dismantled for the Aquarian age now. Ego's not going to have the power it once had, like in the Piscean age, because the frequency of the planet's changing. Ego's going to automatically start getting smaller and smaller, but we're going to have people that are still clinging to their egos and clinging to these old institutions, right, for their safety and security. So it's about letting this old self go. And that's a good mantra too for you, for everybody, is just to know that I'm a mystery. I'm a mystery. I don't really know myself. Was so under so much conditioning all my life. Like, who am I? Who am I really? Am I this? Am I that? Who am I? Those are good questions to ask yourself. So the shamanic test can bring up a lot of pain, because it can feel like this real death, because this ego identity could be following you from past lives, right? But it's time, reflectors, to let that go, right? And to embrace the mystery of you. And then you've got the 9 of Pentacles, or the 9 of Earth. You can see her little reflector out out in the garden with her teacup, enjoying nature. The 9 of Pentacles, the 9 of Earth. So this is about being okay, being alone. Reflectors, right? To find that contentment in being alone, that you're okay, that you're protected, you're okay. To not be insecure, you don't need, this is about relationships, holding on to some relationship that's not good for you anymore, reflectors. So this is about becoming self-reliant on yourself with the 9 of Earth, and enjoying that. And it's also taking stock of the luxuries in your life too. So it's about having gratitude for what you do have. Focus on what you do have. Yeah. And letting go of this person, because this person's become an addiction. They're not your savior, right? No person is anyone's savior. We're our own saviors through the divine. So let's see what the gift here is. And that's a good practice to do anyway. If you're a reflector, is to get away, go on a little trip, just by yourself, to be by yourself, to really feel your frequency. Okay. What's the gift for the reflectors? What's the gift for the reflectors? What's the gift for the reflectors? Is that one right there? Oh. So you got the human design card. So using your strategy, waiting for a moon cycle, waiting for the whole moon cycle. So these are the big decisions to make, right, in your life, like your career and your place of living or relationships. It's not to rush, right? It's to wait for a moon cycle. So if a relationship does come in, right, it's like, I'm going to wait for the moon cycle, a full moon cycle. So you can go from new moon to new moon. And then really tune into yourself. So journaling would really help too. Reflectors and meditation and contemplation before you make any big decisions. Don't be rushing in because the moon waxes and wanes. So you're attuned to the moon. Right? Moon's in Libra and you're all over relationships. Right? All over it. Like, yeah, I want a relationship. Moon's in Taurus and you're thinking about your money and your comfort, and right, it depends on what the archetype of the moon is, but you're going to taste it all the way through. So when you come back with an answer with your strategy, waiting the moon cycle, you're going to come out with a real answer that's correct for you. Yeah. And to trust those relationships will come, those groups will come, because community is really important for the reflectors, you know? Okay. That goes here, that goes there. I just want to take a quick boo if there's any reflectors. I don't think there's any reflectors, eh? Maybe if you're a reflector, you can put it in the comments below. Jen Goodwin says, Raw said everyone is conditioned to be manifestors except manifestors. That's true. We're conditioned not to be ourselves. Yeah. Yeah. If you're a projector, then you're automatically interested in other people. Okay. So let's go for the projectors. So I'm a projector. And I'm 2-4 emotional projector. And projectors are the new leaders of the Aquarian age. And it's not like we're the best and we're superior to the other types. It's a very humble position, right? That gift of humility, the city of humility with this new moon, because we need the other. We're non-energy types. Projector on his own, it's just nothing going on. We need the other, right? So it's servant leadership, serving and guiding the other types. So projectors love that, right? So the projector needs to be recognized for their gifts and talents, and not recognition like, oh, you're strong. Can you help me move this boulder across the lawn? That's not true recognition. It's you're recognized for your gift, right? Whatever your gifts is. So you're recognized. And how a projector experiences recognition is you feel lit up. You feel lit up inside, and projectors live to be recognized, right? So they have to be recognized by the other. So this goes for relationships, for a place of living, for your career, okay, or a deep friendship. You got to feel recognized, right? So that person has to really like see you, right? You'll know when they see you because energetically you're lit up. You're lit up, and we're designed to attract recognition from other people, right? And then you're invited. So you're recognized, and then number 2, you're invited. Hey, I'm really into you. Let's let's jump on the relationship train. Hey, I'd love for you to live here. Come live with me. This would be a great career for you. And then you get invited, right? So how the invitation works, because I was invited to be a teacher long ago. Somebody recognized me as a teacher, like a good teacher. That once you've had the invite, it's not like you've got to be invited over and over and over again. Then you can start to act as a manifester, right? So you've been invited as a teacher, and then it's like I can say, hey, this is what I'm doing. I'm doing these readings now, or this program now, and you act as a manifester and inform, and then people sign up. Just so people know that, the projectors, that you don't need to be invited over and over and over again. But sometimes the invitation ends. You know, maybe that invitation to a relationship ends 11 years later, 12 years later. The invitation is like taken back, and you can feel it energetically. And all it means is there's another invitation coming. So the projectors need to really trust that they're designed to attract invitations. So that's the waiting game, right? So the generators know that. It's like the waiting, but the reflectors or the projectors really have to wait, right? Sometimes the waiting's years, actually, you know, waiting for that. But while you're waiting, you can be studying, because the projectors can take in so much information. We're designed to take in lots and lots and lots of information, and it's actually relaxing. Like, it's relaxing for me to study. I love reading books and watching documentaries and learning, constantly learning. Projectors are like students of life, that it's relaxing for me. I find it relaxing. So we're mentally capable of taking in a lot of information, but in communicating it in ways that people can understand. So what makes a projector a guide is we don't have that life force energy. That sacral is undefined, like the manifestors and reflectors. So we know energy. It's like I describe it as the generators get up in the morning and they get the full tank of gas, right? The projector gets up in the morning, maybe gets a quarter tank of gas every day. So if you only got a quarter tank, I think you would be a lot more strategic, wouldn't you? In a sense of like, well, I got to multitask if I drive this far, right? Because I only have this much gas. Or a generator, manifesting generator, they can waste, right? It's like, I got this full tank of gas. It's like I can waste it on all kinds of different things, right? So the projector is able to say, you know, have you thought of using your energy in this way more efficiently, right? The projectors are all about efficiency. So that's our gift. And we're able to see patterns that other people can't see, you know? Like recognizing, pattern recognition is a big one. Plus I've had the 17 too, which is pattern recognition of like, oh, this sounds familiar. Sounds like you went through this same thing 5 years ago that you talked about, right? Things like that. The projector can help with. So when the projector is operating correctly, they feel successful. Right? They feel successful because we're designed to be successful in this lifetime, but not by working. You can't, as a projector, you can't say, I'm working 9 to 5. It's no, you're studying. Projectors are not designed for working. They're here to study what they love, usually systems, about understanding other people, because we're all interested in other people and how they work. Like, I love psychology. I love discovering why people do the things they do. Like, I love that kind of stuff, right? But not everybody wants to be seen as projectors need to know that. Some people love it, right? Because they're not seen. We got the laser beam aura. We can go right like a gun into someone's G center and see them like their true self, their true character, for better or for worse. And some people love it because they don't feel seen. They've never felt seen in their life. They feel seen by a projector. And then other people are like, don't you dare even look at me, right? Because they don't want to be seen. They want to hide. They want to run away, right? So those are the people that you want, that recognize. They recognize you. They want your guidance. They invite your insights, right? Your feedback. And then there's others that just want your attention, right? It's like, oh, I always feel great when I go out to hang out with my projector friend. And they're flapping with the same victim story over and over and over again. And as a projector, you can see it. And it's like, here's the way out. Here's the guidance. And they're not interested. They just want the attention. So that's a low quality invitation. High quality invitation is like, can I get your insight on this? I don't know what's going on, right? As a projector, those are the people you want, not the people that just want your attention. They actually want your help and your guidance, you know? But you have to be invited. You can't be just blurting it out, because people's auras aren't open to you then. And that's when you feel bitter, right? That's the bitterness. You feel bitter. Like, why doesn't that person listen to me? Why don't they listen to me? They're like banging their head against the wall over and over and over again. And or they come back 2 months later with, oh, I saw this thing on YouTube and they said that, or I saw you right on YouTube and they said this, and it's like, that's exactly what I've been telling you for the last 2 months over and over and over again. But you wouldn't listen to me. You'll listen to some goofball on YouTube, right? About it. So that's the bitterness. I'm channeling the bitterness right now. So that's the projectors. I'm sure there's lots of projectors here. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. M. Baines is a 4/6 emotional projector. Yeah. Yeah. There's one, Randy Richmond. He's a projector. I got my first professional reading by him, and way back in 2004. I've been studying this since 2004, and he's been around he's been like right from like day one with Raw, back in the 80s, studying human design, a projector. He told me, and this is the bitterness, right? He said he thought he was going to end his days, right, in a dirty motel room, screaming out the window, I could have helped you, but you didn't want my effing help, right? Damn you, drinking his bottle of booze. I just laughed at that image, right? That's the bitterness. It's like, I could have helped, but you didn't want my help. But he really understood the projector dilemma. He's passed on now. There's some videos actually with him on it. If you go to the human design sites. Anyway, he was a great mentor for me as a projector. Okay, so let's do some cards for projector for this new moon in Leo. Okay. Yeah. What did he say? He said, because projectors are really efficient with their energy and they're really good at working smart. But you can get, he said, what did he say? He said we're like cougars in a way. We're not for the long marathon run. It's more like using energy in spurts, right? That's what a projector is. But very efficient, right? Very efficient use of energy out of necessity. Okay. Let's see here with projectors. What do the projectors need here? For this new moon, the humility. Okay. But also I want to say too is not to take it personally when people react to you, projectors. That they're not interested in your help or your guidance. It means you're coming closer to somebody that is, right? That you're not everybody's cup of tea. Okay, what do the projectors need? That one right here. That one right here. Hiding. Hiding. So that's this, the non-self, the ego telling you to hide. Right? So this is not showing up as your true self. Not showing up as your true self. And it's about fearing the greatness of your soul. It's not the grandiosity of the ego, but it's the fear of your great soul, right? That greater awareness that you are. And your gifts as a projector. Or playing it small, right? Hiding is about playing it small. But it's also sending the message out to people like, don't look to me. Don't look to me. I don't know what's going on, right? And then you don't have to take any kind of responsibility. Right? And this is the time where the projectors have to come out too. Just like the manifestors have to start initiating, the projectors have to be showing themselves. So that's the thing, whatever you're into, people are going to notice, right? Just do what you're doing. You know what I mean? What you love to study. And people will ask you questions. What are you reading? Or what do you do? And don't listen to the ego and play small. Like, let people know what you're all about. Like, let yourself shine. Don't hide your light under a bushel, right? So it's a playing small is about avoiding other people's expectations. That's what's really going on, and that's the ego. You know, oh, I'm just into this little thing, right? Not really showing your passion about what you're into. And that's so that people won't ask you, right? They won't ask you for guidance. That's the ego. Doesn't want you shining as a projector. And the projectors have to start showing up for the Aquarian age. Okay. And they'll start being recognized more and more, right? These false leaders are showing themselves more and more. Okay, what's the card for the projector? What's the card for the projector? Oh, you got two. Okay. So hiding, and then you've got the Hermit card. That's the Hermit card. It's more like a monk, an angel monk, with the little lantern. And then the 10 of Pentacles, the 10 of Earth. You can see that man with the dog and all his family in the background, all happy. So the 10 of Pentacles and the Hermit. So the Hermit is a little bit about this hiding, right? To not, because it can sometimes feel, you know, for projectors, like they're firemen, you know, the image of the firemen, and there's no fires going on, and they're just sitting around playing checkers, waiting for the call, right? So the projectors can get into this hermit mode a little bit, like going deep, kind of hiding away, just because it's connected to this hiding, waiting for the call, you know, but then getting used to it, right? This hermit phase for them. So it's saying, yeah, that it's time, this new moon in Leo, it's time to move out of the hermit, that's not going to be lost. All this study that you've done, all this work, this internal work you've been doing, the shadow work, the emotional work, everything that you've been doing and working on, you've become a light onto yourself. That's the hermit, becoming a light onto yourself, following your own light as a projector, that you're moving out of that, and what's on the other side of this. So the invitation will come, this new moon. That's what I see, new moon in Leo. You're being called out, right? Coming out. So to watch the fear of the greatness of your soul, right? And coming out of hiding. And then what's there? 10 of Pentacles. This is huge prosperity. This is legacy, right? Legacy, prosperity, and it's security. Yeah, the 10 of Pentacles. It's everything, right? It's the happily ever after. But a lot of security on the material realm. And that can be a big fear of projectors, because we're not designed to work like generators, this 9 to 5. I can't tell you how many JOBs I had until I started working for myself in 2005. Because I would burn out. I would burn out from each job. I would be like forced to leave in a sense, right? Because I would be exhausted because I was trying to work like a generator. And that's what projectors do. They fill up on the coffee and the sugar, and they become workaholics. They completely go against their true self, right? We're not meant to work that grind, that 9 to 5 grind, you know? So this is telling me that you'll be supported, projectors, right? If you stop hiding and move out of this hermit stage of study, right? The hermit studying things, right? That you'll be recognized and you'll be materially supported with whatever you're doing. And I love that he's carrying a book. You see him? He's got like a little book there. That's so projector. Projectors never, I remember my father telling me that. He said, I never remember you without having a book in your hand. Always studying. Yeah. Yeah, that's really good. So just watch what the invitations are coming to you. Remember, you don't need to answer. You got to be recognized and invited. Yeah. And you'll feel if it's the correct invitation for you or not. It will be like, oh my God, I can't believe this is happening. This is so perfect. I've wanted this for so long. And here it is coming true, right? Okay. And this is the leadership, the gift of leadership. Yeah. Okay. And not to initiate, right? Trust that you're going to get the invitation will come. Okay. So M. Baines, the second phase of line 6. So you're coming on the roof. Coming up on the roof. Yeah. Just as a 6th line projector, M. Baines, because you said you're in the roof stage, or you're in your 30s, is it's not that people won't be looking for you. Just because you're on the roof doesn't mean they're not going to be looking for you, right? Because the 6th line holds a lot of wisdom, and people can feel that. But you're also, what I want to say too, in the second phase of your life, you're protected in a sense when you're on the roof, you know? So it's really about looking back at those first 30 years and learning like what those experiences were for you, because they're going to come around again when you're come closer to 50, right? 47, 48, 40, 49. Asked to host a Kundalini Yoga meditation on August 6th. Be ongoing. I have been practicing it and finally been recognized. Oh, great. So recognized as a meditation teacher. That's great. Oh, it wasn't good timing. She asked me a reason, but I declined because it wasn't timing for me. Yeah, it's got to work for you too. So don't get afraid, right? Because some people are like, I've got projectors. I got to take this invitation because there'll be no more invitations for me. Is to trust, right? That the more invitations will come. Invitations that are correct for you. Okay. Almost 2 hours. That's crazy. I thought this wouldn't be so long. C. Van Wade asks, if we're doing the 40-day Kundalini Yoga meditation, we miss a day. Yeah, you got to start over all over again. That's how it works. 40 days to create a habit. So it's got to be every day. Yeah. So watch that, right? Because the ego wants to sabotage the 40-day commitment. Yeah. Because when we do these commitments, it really builds your your confidence and your self-esteem too. It's like, I did that crazy meditation for 40 days in a row. Like, you can, of course I can do this, right? Because you have that in your backpack now of your past experiences. Of course I can do this. I did that meditation for 40 days. I can do this for 40 days, for 120 days. Yeah. Okay. So hopefully people enjoyed that with the types. I enjoyed doing that. So I want to share more human design knowledge for people that are interested in that, not just the zodiac signs. I'll probably continue with the zodiac signs, but I'm going to bring the types in too. Yeah. And maybe we can start creating a network, right, through this channel of like all the projectors and the manifestors and the generators and whatnot. Because with human design, it's a living open source knowledge. It's not like all written in stone. It's continuing to evolve, and how it evolves, human design, is through each one of us, right? So I have my own way in, my own doorway into human design, and it's not going to be like the same door for everybody else. And I mean, Kundalini yoga meditation is definitely a tool, and then astrology is a big tool for me, and then just my chart. It's all about the emotions and shadow work and uniqueness, right? So you're going to have your own doorway into human design, but it's like, it's about having an experience, right, with this knowledge. It's not about this is like rules and dogma. It's about I'm just gonna try this on. I'm gonna see how my design works. I'm gonna experiment with this, especially if you're a sixth line and a third line. You're here to do that anyway, right? Third line, sixth line profiles. Okay, so leave your comments below and like and share, because that helps with the algorithm and spreading around this this knowledge. Okay, so have a great day, evening, wherever you are in the world, and make sure you come to my website too. I've got free meditations and the 50% recorded readings too, and you'll learn a lot more about your type, okay, through my recorded readings. Okay, so Satnam Aloha, bye bye everybody.